Hello everyone, this is part 6 of What If Naruto Was Trained by the Sith Lord, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Senju Tsunade, the granddaughter of the Shodaime Hokage, was considered by all the most feared woman and kunoichi in all of the elemental countries. She had a mean temper, an even meaner right hook with the strength to match, and knew more about the human body than anyone to date. One of the three Sannin, Tsunade knew how to hurt someone with minimal effort and cause maximum damage to an enemy should she ever choose do so. Seeing her old teammate again was making her want to do that right about now. "What are you doing here, Jiraiya? I have no time to be around a pervert like yourself at the moment," said Tsunade suspiciously at the Sannin currently staring back with a goofy grin that was clearly meant to lower her guard. "Don't be like Tsunade. I didn't even know you would be here and it's been ages since we last spoke to each other," said Jiraiya while Tsunade didn't buy it one bit. "Liar. You have that cheesy fake smile I hate on your face. You'd always have it when asking me for something," said Tsunade while Jiraiya's face went from cheesy smile to dead serious. "Okay, I'll be blunt then and tell you the truth. Sarutobi-sensei is retiring again. No one has the means to fill his shoes at the moment except a small handful of people," said Jiraiya while keeping the secret truth about the simple fact the handful consisted only of Tsunade and himself. That and the Fire Daimyo had ordered it after performing his own little investigation into the matter. "No, not interested. The position of Hokage is for fools," said Tsunade coldly while her assistant Shizune wanted to say something yet held her tongue. "I thought you might say that. The old man doesn't want to let go of his title, but the Fire Daimyo is making him after the failed invasion attempt by Orochimaru. He's dead by the way," said Jiraiya while seeing Tsunade's eyes widen slightly at hearing her old teammate had died. "At Sensei's hands," said Tsunade curiously. "No, the Kazekage actually. The invasion failed because the Kazekage had intervened with his own forces outflanking him and soon our old teammate is torn to pieces via a wind jutsu," said Jiraiya seeing Tsunade nod. "Jiraiya, I want to ask a question, and if you lie to me I swear on my family's honor you will not be coming back to Konoha alive," said Tsunade, as her tone became very serious, and Jiraiya was instantly on guard. "Depends on the question," said Jiraiya while Tsunade was looking into her tiny cup of alcohol before looking up at him. "How did my godson die? How did Uzumaki Naruto die the night the Kyuubi attacked?" said Tsunade while keeping her eyes on Jiraiya, and the man's widened slightly at the unexpected question. Well, you know, Tsunade, the Kyuubi's chakra was too powerful, and it killed itself in the process of being sealed by the Yondaime. The baby may be an Uzumaki, but even someone from that clan couldn't survive Kyuubi's power if it fought back, and a child has no chance of fighting something on that magnitude," said Jiraiya with Tsunade looking him dead in the eyes while he talked. After he finished talking, Tsunade looked him in the eyes, into his very being, and saw all she needed to see from them. "So he's dead. Without a doubt, my godson is dead, and you can show proof of it," said Tsunade seeing Jiraiya nod though he was clearly confused by this line of questioning. "Yeah, sure, but why are you asking me this now? After so many years?" said Jiraiya with a frown on his face. "Oh, no reason whatsoever. Just talking about Orochimaru and Sarutobi-sensei brings up a lot of bad memories from the past," said Tsunade while Jiraiya nodded. "Yeah, the boy would have been great. Just like his parents," said Jiraiya while wincing inwardly at how deep a hole he just dug himself in front of Tsunade. "Well, enough about the past. Go back to the Leaf now, Jiraiya, and tell them I'm not going to be Hokage," said Tsunade with Jiraiya looking at her with a sad look on his face. "That's a shame because I think you'd look sexy wearing the Hokage robes," said Jiraiya with a smirk while Tsunade crushed the cup in her hands. "Get out of here, Jiraiya, or I'll do to your balls what I just did to my drinking cup," said Tsunade not wanting to put up with her former teammate's perverted ways right now. "I'll be hanging around for a few days at a nearby hotel. Just in case you change your mind," said Jiraiya smiling at Tsunade before leaving. "What do you think, Tsunade-sama?" said Shizune seeing her the older woman think for a second in deep thought. "Get our things. We're leaving," said Tsunade, as she paid for the drinks, and left in a completely different direction than Shizune. She had to see the living proof that Jiraiya had lied all these years to her face. Tsunade had to see Uzumaki Naruto, or as he called himself now, Darth Sage. It had happened in a strange way, as Tsunade recalled it almost like it was yesterday, and remembered being in a casino betting money that she'd eventually lose. Or in some cases win, but something bad happening soon after, and the woman would have to deal with something major while Shizune tagged along. As for meeting her presumed dead godson, Tsunade was sitting at the blackjack table, winning little, and losing a lot like usual at the time the robed figure appeared. He sat next to her, a bit young to be playing, and saw the dealer ask if he was a shinobi before the boy merely made a gesture for the dealer to accept him. And the dealer did. Just like that. So the two played, made little small talk, or rather none at all, while Tsunade kept one eye on her guards with another eye on him. Flashback. You should really focus on your cards more than me. Makes people suspect we are both working together when we've really just met for the first time, said the robed figure, who now received a glare from Tsunade, and was now refocusing back on her cards. As if I need help or to cheating to win, said Tsunade, getting 10 of diamond card before she got a bottom card. No. Since you constantly lose 99% of the time, said the robed figure, as he got a king of spades, and then a bottom card. So you know who I am, said Tsunade, with it being more of a statement than question directed towards the boy. I do. Though I'm not here to collect a bounty placed on your head or collect the money you owe people if that's what you're currently thinking. I'm here to play a game. Stay, said the robed figure to both the dealer and to Tsunade. Good. Because if you were, I'd knot you into next week, and then punt you 2 months into the past. Hit me, said Tsunade, as she got a third card, a queen of spades, and held back the grimace. Good to hear. Though I wonder, would you make such idle threats to your godson? 1. Uzumaki Naruto, said the robed figure, seeing Tsunade's hands flex slightly and knew he hit a nerve. I didn't like it when someone digs up loved one from my past, who have died needlessly, and won't stand for it now. So finish playing this hand with me and leave before I decide to get violent in ways you couldn't begin to imagine, said Tsunade in a dangerous tone, indicating she'd carry out her threat of doing something violent. I know you would. I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger, but the anger you feel shouldn't be aimed at me. It should be aimed at those that spread lies that you were so blinded in your grief to believe in by those you trusted without question, said the robed figure before turning over his covered card to reveal the Ace of Hearts. What are you talking about? Said Tsunade, as she flipped her covered card over to reveal it was a 5 of clubs, and thus went way over. Gentleman has 21 and is the winner, said the dealer, as he had a king of diamonds, and 8 of hearts, giving him a total of 18. I'm talking about the truth being hidden from you by the liars of the Leaf Village. Ask yourself this, is the body I saw of a dead, burned baby really my godson's, or is a special clone designed to fool even my medical skills? Said the robed figure, as he collected his winnings, and gave a few chips to Tsunade in case she wanted to continue. Why? Said Tsunade while staring at the small pillar of chips. Why what? Said the figure. Why are you telling me this? Why are you digging up such a painful time for me? Said Tsunade, seeing the figure turn slightly to look at her. Because the boy you were supposed to raise as your godson, was in more than you ever could have been, and it was their fault. You know who it was. Only 2 people outside of yourself knew of his heritage. Only 2 people knew you'd take the child away from the leaf to protect him from the wolves that were in the village waiting to pounce once they smelled blood, said the robed figure, and saw Tsunade getting angry. But not at him. Sarutobi-sensei and Jiraiya, said Tsunade, knowing it all fit since they were the only ones capable of pulling it off. But why? Correct, said the figure while Tsunade was thinking everything inside her head. Where is my godson now? Is he still in the leaf? Said Tsunade, seeing the figure let out a chuckle. Meet me outside the city in 5 minutes and I'll tell you everything about your godson. Come alone, said the figure before leaving the Sannin to her private thoughts. End flashback. And boy did her godson tell the Sannin everything. The pain, the suffering, and abuse the village had put him through just to satisfy their own stupidity. It made Tsunade enraged to know her sensei had a hand in it from the start, and Jiraiya had deliberately ignored his own duties to watch over Naruto like they planned from the start. She was surprised to see him with 2 well-developed women Tsunade recognized from the bingo book, as shinobi from Kumo, and yet they did not wear their village's headband. Her godson had explained he was getting tools together to form his new empire within the heart what was once his mother's homeland of Whirlpool, and revealed a shocking truth to Tsunade about how it fell in order for the leaf to possess a Jinchuriki vessel for Kyuubi. While Tsunade didn't like the idea of these two women being called that, even if they were from a rival village, she couldn't fault the boy for doing everything he had done so far, and even admitted to herself that turning Suna against Orochimaru was impressive. The Sannin had been so sure he had won against the Leaf, using Suna's financial situation against them, and the unstable Sabaku no Gara as the tip of the sword they would use to stab into the heart of the Leaf. Yet Darth Sage, as he had told Tsunade to call him from now on, had turned the tables by removing Suna's problems with more wealth than the wind Daimyo could shake a stick at, and all for betraying Orochimaru when he least suspected it while making sure the light shined on Suna while making the Leaf look like it was filled with incompetent jackasses. And that was a week ago. You will soon be visited by Jiraiya of the Sannin. He'll want to talk to you about taking the position of Hokage away from the old man. Try to make it seem like you're not the only candidate, but still pretty important to ask, and sweet talk you into it. Don't be fooled by his words. You and he are the only ones qualified. Turn him down and bring me up along with how I supposedly died. Let him lie and wait until he leaves you after turning down his offer to be Hokage of the Leaf. Then come see me. We have to talk some more. Those were her Gosun's words when they last spoke, and while she didn't believe in him seeing visions of the future at first, this was more than enough proof to consider the boy might have the gift. With Jiraiya, the Sannin sighed, as he sat in his hotel room, drinking some sake while thinking about the past, and how Tsunade took Naruto's death hard since she really wanted to be the boy's godmother so damn badly. Hell, the Sannin would wager the woman would forsake gambling and heavy drinking just to raise the kid free of vices he may pick up from her. So why did he lie to the woman when he had the means to have Tsunade settle down in the village? She might have even thanked him in such a way he wouldn't need to do his research at the hot springs for a year. Stupid old monkey. Played on my grief just like I did hers, thought Jiraiya before letting out a sigh. Hey pervert, said Gamakichi appearing in a puff of smoke and on the Toad Sannin's stomach. Hey Gamakichi, did you follow Tsunade like I asked? Said Jiraiya seeing the little orange toad nod. Yep. She's heading out of the city to meet someone by the looks of it, but the other woman Shizune went the other way, and took the pig with her, said Gamakichi with the Sannin in front of him frown before it turned into a deadly serious look. She going to meet him, said Jiraiya sitting up and ignoring the orange toad in front of him. Hey, watch it. And what do you mean she's going to meet him? Meet who? Said Gamakichi seeing the Sannin head for the door. Forget it, said Jiraiya before he shut the door and leaving a confused summons behind. With Tsunade, you came back, as I knew you would, said Darth Sage sitting on a boulder with his eyes closed in meditation. Spare me the mystic stuff, Gaki. I'm here to talk to you about Jiraiya, said Tsunade while seeing him smile further. So my irresponsible godfather tracked you down. Is he still alive after telling you that lie about how I apparently died during QB's sealing? Of course he did, though I am a bit surprised you haven't killed him yet, said Darth Sage seeing Tsunade scowling at his semi-mocking tone. Killing him would have been too merciful, said Tsunade with the Sith let out a chuckle. Of course. The old adage of, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, comes to mind, said Darth Sage while Tsunade scoffed. If that were the case, half the women in the world would have brought about the end of the world for the perverted smut books Jiraiya writes, said Tsunade seeing the Sith let out a hearty laugh. Indeed, though perhaps it hasn't happened because the women scorned don't know he's the writer. Said Darth Sage seeing Tsunade smirk at that. Perhaps, said Tsunade knowing that was most likely true. We have company, said Darth Sage, as he frowned at seeing the figure not far away from Tsunade, and she turned to see individual herself. Jiraiya, said Tsunade while her former teammate continued to scowl. Tsunade, I see you've been in contact with Naruto this whole time, said Jiraiya with Tsunade rolling her eyes. Only for about a week. Why do you look so angry? You lied first, remember? Said Tsunade in a sickly sweet voice. That's not the point here, Tsunade. Naruto's a criminal of the Leaf. He's killed its citizens, stolen shinobi from Konoha, and other villages to turn into his own tools, to use how he sees fit, said Jiraiya seeing the Sith scowl at him. You left out the part where I prevented Suna from siding with Orochimaru and turning your village into a burning wasteland. Did you know the Kazekage planned to aid your former teammate in the invasion? I thought not. It was through my intervention that kept Suna from siding with Orochimaru. It was through my misdirection that saved the Leaf. So what if I killed a few people? They all deserve to die and we both know it. As for the shinobi I took, their potential was being wasted serving their villages, and I decided to be merciful by allowing them the means to have their talents appreciated. To grow stronger and become something more than their betters would allow, said Darth Sage, seeing the Sanin's face turn to fury. You may have saved the village, but you only damned it to feel slow agonizing pain, as the Fire Daimyo once answers, and Kumo is threatening war with the Leaf. The third Hokage now currently being investigated for his actions since originally coming out of his retirement, said Jiraiya, seeing the boy smile behind his hood. Good, said Darth Sage, like it was about time someone judged the old cage. Good, good. Konoha is going to lose clients, funding, and strength from the inevitable decline this scandal will cause, said Jiraiya, seeing his godson laugh now while his two female bodyguards stood silent and expressionless since they were not allowed to laugh at the Leaf's misfortune. You make it sound like I should be caring about the future of Konoha. I don't. I will never show anything but contempt for my old home, and watch it slowly die like its people have tried with me, said Darth Sage, with his voice going from mockingly warm to deadly cold. Naruto, I know the village wronged you, but that doesn't mean such extremes must be taken against it, and the people running the Leaf, said Jiraiya, seeing the boy's glare intensify. The Leaf village is run by arrogant people, who are acting like spoiled little children, and the big bad bullies on the playground while thinking they can get away with just about everything. I'm simply reminding them of the order of things, that when a child is being bad, the parent steps in, and disciplines them, harshly, said Darth Sage, seeing Jiraiya scowl further. And what about you, Naruto? Do you honestly think I can just ignore your presence here now that I've found you? The order by the Sandaime Hokage to bring you back is still in effect, said Jiraiya, as he saw the boy's bodyguards shift into a more guarded position to defend the Sith, and knew this could get ugly. I see. So you intend to take me back to Konoha? No doubt, where they will temporarily seal away Kyuubi, alter my memories, begin my re-education, and when everything is to their liking they will allow me access to Kyuubi once more. Am I right? Said Darth Sage while Jiraiya grimaced. Perhaps. You are still a citizen of Konoha and thus belong to there, said Jiraiya, seeing the Sith shake his head in disagreement. You mean I'm their property? That I'm not person or even a shinobi? To you and a Jinchuriki is property, to use how they see fit. I'd be a slave in all, but name in the Leaf, and even then I wouldn't put it past them to place some kind of seal on me to ensure my unwilling obedience to their commands, said Darth Sage while Tsunade was glaring a hole in Jiraiya, knowing only a seal master of his caliber could do all of that and knew he would if ordered to do it too. It's how things are, Naruto. Whether we like it or not, said Jiraiya while feeling a dark energy swirling around Naruto and seeing the rage in his eyes. And my mother, was she property too? Said Darth Sage, seeing Jiraiya's eyes widen in shock at him mentioning her. Your mother? You mean Kushina? Said Tsunade with the Sith nodding. According to Kyuubi, my mother was its previous host, and your grandmother being the first of all three of us. So tell me, Jiraiya, from your own point of view, are those of my family bloodline on my mother's side, who became Kyuubi Jinchuriki, considered property, and thus should be treated as such? Said Darth Sage, seeing Jiraiya narrow his eyes at him. You don't want to know my point of view, said Jiraiya, seeing his godson just let out a hollow chuckle. No, I don't want to know it. What I want, my failure of a godfather, is something beyond your simple, narrow mind, and comprehension in terms of my own personal goals, said Darth Sage while Jiraiya let out her empty chuckle. Don't tell me, you want to rule the world, and be all-powerful like a god. You're not the first to think that up, and you won't be the last, said Jiraiya, seeing the Sith smile cruelly at him. Without the necessary training and guidance, then yes, it would be folly to try, and be a complete failure. Oh wait, I do have the necessary training and guidance, so my goals are not so folly after all, said Darth Sage mockingly at Jiraiya, who moved his feet slightly, and getting ready to move against the Sith. We'll see. Once I seal away Kyuubi, his teachings will be the first thing Inoiki removes from your mind, and start off with a clean slate, said Jiraiya while the boy's bodyguards Samui and Karui got ready for him with their weapons. Fool. I never did say my teacher was Kyuubi. While it's true, the fox is teaching me to control its demonic power, my primary teacher in all that I know is not the Kyuubi, and a being of great wisdom, said Darth Sage, seeing Jiraiya look at him completely stunned by this news. What? Kyuubi isn't responsible for some of things the others have witnessed him doing, thought Jiraiya while the boy just grinned at him. Yes, my primary master is the one who taught me a many great things, and still does in a learning while doing kind of manner. Everything I did leading to my escape was a test, the taking of Gato's company was a test, and breaking the perfect image Konoha had of itself while discrediting the Sandime Hokage was a test placed before me. I passed with flying colors, said Darth Sage while laughing at Jiraiya currently seething at him. I see. Something tells me, even if I did bring you home to be re-educated, this teacher of yours wouldn't be sealed away, and undo all my work. Even if I sealed away your chakra, the power you wield now wouldn't go away, and could kill me in an instant, said Jiraiya seeing the Sith nod. Perhaps. Perhaps not, oh wise toad sage. Though how you got the right to be a sage at all I will never really understand. I sense so much fear in you, it's disgusting, and pathetic really. No wonder Tsunade wouldn't go on dates with you back then. So full of yourself and never taking things seriously. Always focusing on trivial things like your research, and being a super pervert, that you are so proud at proclaiming for all to hear despite the fact it makes you look like a complete joke. Said Darth Sage, as he attacked the Sannin from within his very core, knowing how to strike at his soul, and mind where it would hurt the most. I don't have to take this from a punk like you, Naruto. You may have those dark powers, but you're still no match for me, even with those bodyguards, and I'm going to make you ever regret ever trying to break free of your responsibilities, said Jiraiya taking a step towards his godson, only to be blasted back, and skidded roughly 20 feet before being able to stop. My responsibilities. What about yours, Jiraiya? Shaking off being a godfather and then denying your former teammate the right to be a godmother to her only godson. I have had just about lost my patience with your hypocrisy, said Darth Sage, as he had put up with the man's presence long enough, and decided now would be the best time to make an example out of the Sannin. Good, because I'm sick of looking at the twisted evil thing my godson has become, said Jiraiya rushing forward again with the boy's female bodyguards rushing forward, their old weapons destroyed in the forest of death replaced with newer versions. At least until the old ones could be repaired when time permitted. Jiraiya leaped over Karui, moved to the right to dodge Samui's attack, ducked under the horizontal swing made by Karui, blocked the knee to his face made by the busty blonde, and viciously broke her leg before elbowing the former Kumo Kunoiki hard in the gut. That did little to stop Samui though, as she thrust her tanto up from her position on the ground, trying to at least wound him, and cut his cheek when he tried to avoid the attack. Jiraiya just barely had enough time to get over his shock when Samui's sword was now coming down upon him and he had to leap away with his hair paying the price with a chunk of it being removed. You only have yourself, the Sandime Hokage, and Konoha to blame for what I am. For making this path appear before me. You all wanted a monster, demon, and weapon to be forged for the purpose of deterring rival powers. Well, here I am, Jiraiya. The fruits of all your labor and plans standing before you with the desire to follow this path to its bloody conclusion to whatever end it leads me, said Darth Sage, as Samui went on the offensive while Tsunade went to work on healing Kaori's leg, and the bruising to the stomach for good measure. Damn it. I need to get to Naruto and this woman's not making it easy. We'll say this for the kid, he's got a good eye for competent shinobi, and not bad looking either, thought Jiraiya, as he found this Kunoiki in front of him was not some slacker of a genin, but a skilled Junin-level shinobi, and clearly driven to protect her master at all cost. Seeing a rare opening from one of Samui's sword swings, the Sannin took it, and hit the girl with a Rasengan that sent her flying back into a boulder near Tsunade. With both women down, Jiraiya rushed forward, another Rasengan forming in his right hand, and saw Naruto looking at the jutsu with great interest. Just before reaching him, the Sith in training dodged the hand thrust with the orb of chakra in the Sannin's hand, grabbed the wrist of the extended limb, and maneuvered behind Jiraiya while holding the right arm behind the man's back. The strength behind the hold was something a 13-year-old child his age should not have, which was granted to Sage using the Force, and one the Sith had no intention of yielding anytime soon. Jiraiya was surprised by this move, as he did not expect the sudden super speed and strength from a kid with no shinobi training at all. Now, Jiraiya of the Sannin, you will share your secrets with me, and all that you know will become mine, said Darth Sage, as he put his left hand on the back of Jiraiya's head, and using the Force to extract information from the Sannin's mind. No, he mustn't know what I do, thought Jiraiya, as he tried to fight it, but the feeling of his mind being drained of information was already starting to tax him, and only had one recourse open to him. Going through quick one-handed hand signs before it was too late, the Toad Sannin used Needle Jizzo to make the Sith leap away, and give the boy a bloody left hand after being stabbed by over a dozen hairs acting like sharp flesh-piercing needles. A string of curses later, the Sith apprentice cursed his godfather's ability to defend himself before complete extraction of information could be obtained, and Darth Sage decided now was the time to leave. Samui, Karui, we're leaving, said Darth Sage, as he saw the two walking over to him while Tsunade watched Jiraiya struggling to keep himself upright after that move to drain his skull of knowledge. We're not done yet, Naruto, said Jiraiya while trying not to look drunk while wobbling while trying stay standing. No, we're not. There's still a lot inside your head I need to extract. Sadly, we are out of time, and we'll have to wait until another day comes when we cross paths once more, said Darth Sage bowing slightly and then began walking away with his wounded hand slowly healing with his two bodyguards right behind him. Sage-sama, forgive me for asking, but why did you not press the advantage, and extract more from the Sannin? Said Samui while she wobbled slightly with Karui, as she was still hurting from the Rasengan, and even with Tsunade healing her had still left an ache in her body. Because I have enough for now. If I press the advantage, I risk causing more harm to a man, who has a jutsu capable of harming me while I drain his mind, and we are in no rush. All is going according to plan. Suna is getting more clients, more funding, and the Leaf is descending from the ranks of being the top shinobi village in all of the elemental countries. Soon, Tsunade herself will join us, and we will acquire a powerful ally to teach several of you the medical arts. From what I've seen here today, one of you will need to know these things when accompanying me anywhere, and there is also a chance to acquire control of Mist from its current cage, said Darth Sage with a grin on his face knowing he could bolster his forces several times over with the right amount of finesse. How do you plan to do that, Sage-sama? Said Karui, as she was curious to how her master would take control of Mist, and all its internal problems. Simple. Right now, certain factions within Mist are in the state of a rebellion against its current Mizukage, and the long continuous struggle is like a slow-acting poison to the village itself. The only cure for Mist now is to accelerate the poison, to the point where we can flush out the negative effects, and rebuild from the ground up using the surviving shinobi, said Darth Sage sensing both women looking at each other for a second. Are you saying what we both think you're saying? Said Karui seeing the Sith nod. Yes, Karui. We're going to accelerate the coup d'etat against the Mizukage and use my company to provide the rebels with what they need to win, said Darth Sage knowing his company could sell weapons to them and further connect with that area of the war-torn world. Is that wise, Master? What if they lose? Said Samui seeing the Sith smirk at her. They won't lose, Samui, because I won't let them lose. Rebels like these have the will and desire to win. All they need are the tools to win this war, and in return they become fully indebted to me for my assistance. In the end, I will have the support of experienced, well-trained shinobi, who know war, fought in a way, and capable of fighting using any means necessary under my command. I will merge Mist and Water Country as a whole into my new empire with a strong enough power base from my company to finance it to keep my enemies from attacking, said Darth Sage with both women being very impressed by this action. But will the Leaf and Kumo give you time to make that happen? What if Iwa learns you took one of their shinobi? Said Samui, as she had always found looking at every angle was better than focusing on one. It doesn't matter. Suzumbachi was considered a disgrace to Iwa, and when the official word of her dying came they cared next to nothing upon hearing the lie. Since siding with me, I have helped her get stronger, and develop her skills to the point where she could rival the Aberrang clan in commanding her insects, said Darth Sage having spent a great deal of time with each of his subordinates and working them into the ground until the very idea of training with him instill a whimper escaping their mouths. The former Leaf shinobi named Tenten still doesn't like being your tool, Sage-sama. Her pride as a kunoiki won't allow it, said Karui, as she along with Samui had been charged with teaching the younger woman their sword skills, and had found the bun-haired girl to be very stubborn. I will deal with her myself in my own way, but for now we must stay the course, and learn from each other in order to become stronger, said Darth Sage, as he had Haku teach Hinata, and Karen in the medical arts with Hinata sharing what she knew with her own healing cream she developed in secret before the Chunin exams even started. Rock Lee was learning swordsmanship with a katana in using some of Form 2, Makashi style, and focus more on Form IV, Ataru, since the latter would fit the former shinobi of the Leaf's physical acrobatic-like form. The young Sith knew the boy had great physical endurance using weights, could move at incredible speed, and was perfect for knowing these forms. Of course, Plagueis had suggested his apprentice not teach Lee everything about Form 2, and keep certain things from being learned should they ever fight again using swords rather than fists. Darth Sage agreed, as he knew his students would learn everything he wanted them to know, but not everything the Sith knew, and keep a few hidden aces up his sleeve. Sadly, Anko didn't learn too much from him, or even the others when it came to train aside from her usual regiment. In fact, the former Special Junin was classified as more of a teacher than student when it came to overall training, and Sage had left her to teach them about female things of a sexual nature. It was something Haku had respectfully requested of him, as she felt it would help out Hinata, Karen, Tenten, and even the ice user herself. Since the females nominated for this were among the youngest of the entire group, Haku felt that they should know certain things of that area, and better prepare them for aspects of the female body their master could not handle. Since the Sith himself could not teach it, nor did he ever wish to, Anko was given the right to teach the sensitive issue to them, and Darth Sage further decided it would be the only lesson they could keep to themselves without him involved in any questions that came up. "We will need new members soon," said Karui with the Sith nodding in agreement. "I know. I have planned to expand our numbers, but it requires going into sound, and I sense a great danger awaiting me there," said Darth Sage with both women looking worried at that piece of information. "Do you wish someone to accompany you?" said Simui, knowing he usually traveled alone to keep the others from being spotted. "Actually I do. I require Karen, Lee, and Yugito to accompany me on this next mission once it's time to head there. If all goes well, we can acquire one new member," said Darth Sage with both women looking surprised. "Just one," said Simui, since she was expecting, well, more than just one. "One master swordsman can defeat 100 poorly trained swordsmen in battle. Or in my case the strongest warrior Sound has that Orochimaru had a reason to covet above all others," said Darth Sage, seeing both women looking flawed. "You are going to rob Sound of Orochimaru's most prized warrior," said Karui, seeing the Sith look back and nod. "Orochimaru is dead, Karui. There is nothing wrong with me taking what is no longer his to covet," said Darth Sage, knowing that was in fact the case. "But you said a great danger was there waiting for you there," said Karui, seeing the boy nod. "There is always danger waiting for me wherever I go. Nothing can change that. Besides, the reward will far outweigh the risks, and I sense the mission will be successful even if I went by myself," said Darth Sage, while now sensing their confusion. "Then why have the escort if you know it will be successful?" said Simui, with the Sith apprentice stopping to look at her with deadly eyes. "Because the future is always in motion. I won't take the risk of the future not being in my favor," said Darth Sage, knowing even with all his growing experience in the Force, the chance of something going sideways on him was always possible, and the only way to properly manipulate the future to bring things about the way he wanted was to put things in motion so they did happen that way. "So you're being safe rather than sorry," said Simui, hearing the boy let out a chuckle. "In a nutshell, yes. Yes I am," said Darth Sage, seeing the two sweat drop. Konoha a few days later. "I still can't believe this happened," said Kiba, as he was so angry right now, wanting to destroy something, or more specifically someone wearing dark robes with freaky powers. "It was beyond our control, Kiba. We can only hope Hinata is being treated fairly," said Shino, while seeing his teammates snarl and act more animal-like with each passing day at losing their female team member. "I'm going to shred that guy to pieces," said Kiba, as he slashed at a nearby tree, and howled out in rage. "I'm afraid you'll have to get in line, Kiba. Our team was not the only one pilfered during the Chunin exams. Plus, the Leaf is currently having its past performance of the last decade being reviewed by the Fire Daimyo, and thus all missions outside the village have been suspended upon a thorough examination," said Kurenai, which like Kiba had also ticked her off, and the only reason Jiraiya had been allowed out was to persuade Senju Tsunade to become the new Hokage. "The Hyuga clan main family isn't happy about this either, though from what my father has explained, it is probably the only reason none of the other villages have gone to war with us, and are possibly searching for their own missing shinobi," said Shino, as he had been having discussions about this matter with his father, and the Nara clans. Since both families had strong strategically based minds, they hoped could anticipate the Sith's next move. Guy's worried too. Losing two of his students, with one being just like him and the other being a kunoichi in her own right, said Kurenai, knowing the man was being silent since it happened. "Any news on what is to happen now, Kurenai-sensei?" said Shino, as they had all been training hard for the day they could be deployed to find their missing comrades, but they had no way to utilize their training until then, and it was becoming most irritating. Currently was still on lockdown. However, I do know that our team, Team 9, and Team 7 will be coming together to form two teams with Hyuga Neji rotating between them, said Kurenai with both her students looking surprised. Hyuga Neji is going back and forth between teams. Not the Uchiha, said Kiba, since he expected the councils to try and come up with a reason to let that happen. They're all afraid Naruto might kidnap him too, or possibly kill the Uchiha just out of the clear spite he has for Konoha, said Kurenai, while the councils wanted to have Kakashi pump the Uchiha brat with enough power to light up a city and then have him go after the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. How is the investigation regarding the Sandaime Hokage going? Said Shino, as he had heard the rumors of the third Hokage being judged for his past actions after coming out of retirement when the Yondaime Hokage died, and the Fire Daimyo was already less than pleased by his findings. Whatever was going on behind closed doors between the Sandaime Hokage and the Fire Daimyo with the feudal lord's own advisors in the room. It wasn't good. They went over how the old Kage went about handling Naruto's life and how he was being raised in the village to the ceiling of Kurama Yakumo's genjutsu abilities that did little in keeping her strange tendencies from getting dangerous. There was also the matter of the constant pampering of the Uchiha, who the Fire Daimyo felt didn't deserve it, as the boy had done little to receive it, and infuriated the man that no one in the village had seen to put a stop to it. Even worse, the Fire Daimyo own financial investigators, who were all assigned a small samurai escort, had found certain discrepancies within Konoha's records, and traced the source to two clan bank accounts. More specifically, the two accounts belonged to both the Uzumaki and Namika's clan account that was slowly being depleted by the village, even though such resources were not the village's to take. The Fire Daimyo knew that the current Kyuubi Jinchuriki was the Yondaime's son, as he'd been the one performing the marriage between the man and his wife Uzumaki Kushina, so it wasn't hard to figure out the child was theirs. He had been told, assured even by the Sandaime Hokage, that the boy would be loved here in the leaf, and become strong like his parents did. If there was one thing a Kage knew never to do, it was to lie to their village's feudal lord, and have him come to the village to dig into its past personally. Of course the Fire Daimyo had realized upon seeing the ugly exposed lie for what it was. The feudal lord soon understood why the other daimyos kept a close eye on their villages more than him, and felt his own shame for letting himself trust the Sandaime Hokage to such a degree. Still, the Sandaime Hokage wasn't entirely at fault either, as the councils had played a hand in things too, and thought they knew how to run the leaf. So as it stood, the village was in lockdown, missions outside of the leaf were on hold, suspended indefinitely until informed otherwise by the Fire Daimyo himself, and by no other authority figure with him. Not good. Jiraiya of the Sannin was sent to require Senju Tsunade into being the next Hokage. But if she doesn't agree to it, then another will have to be made, and we don't have many shinobi even remotely close to matching the strength of either remaining Sannin, said Kurenai, knowing there could be a few weaker potentials in the Junin ranks, but she doubted any of them could properly handle the reins of power that came with the right to be Hokage, and manage Konoha from the chair behind the authoritative desk. You guys, Jiraiya-sama is back, said Ino, as she was running towards them, and heard through her gossip network of the Sannin's return. With Tsunade, said Kurenai, with hope that with her in charge, the lockdown could be lifted, and they could hunt for their missing comrades. Sadly, he was alone, and from what I heard, he ran into Naruto in the process, said Ino, seeing the group look stunned. Did Jiraiya-sama see if Naruto had Hinata-chan or any of the others with him by chance and rescued them? Said Kiba, while Ino shook her head no. No. Naruto had two of the kunoichi he captured in the Forest of Death, who were from Kumo, and they fought Jiraiya when he moved to take him back to the leaf, said Ino, while Kurenai stiffened at that news, since Kumo always reminded her of Hinata and the hell that incident when she was a little girl started. Was he able to injure Naruto? Said Kurenai, seeing Ino shrug. I'm not really sure. According to the mission report my dad read, Jiraiya-sama was able to use a jutsu involving his hair, and hurt Naruto's left hand. But Jiraiya said the wound would do little to slow him down, as the injury would soon heal in a matter of moments, and just be considered a minor annoyance to him, said Ino, who was clearly confused by exactly what that meant, and Kurenai realized that such unawareness was most likely due to no one telling the younger generation about Naruto's status in being a Jinchuriki. Such an injury probably would be considered a minor annoyance thanks to the Kyuubi, thought Kurenai, knowing the boy wasn't going to let such an injury stop him. What about finding Tsunade-sama? Said Shino, seeing Ino looking a tad worried. Well, from what I heard, she's not only coming back to the leaf, but Jiraiya-sama also stated that Tsunade knows the truth, and refused to become Hokage, said Ino while not understanding the part she quoted, and neither did her current audience. And what the hell does that even mean? Said Kiba angrily, as he couldn't believe the woman would ditch Konoha over some kind of hidden truth, and just say, screw you, to the Leaf Village. It means that we are, as you would so eloquently put it, screwed, Kiba, said Shino in his monotone voice. With Jiraiya. So it's true. Tsunade is siding with Naruto, said Kakashi seeing the Sannin nod while they sat on a roof of a nearby building. Yeah. Naruto got to her before I did and basically exposed my lie the Sandaime had me cook up to keep him in the village. Now she hates the leaf even more for it, said Jiraiya seeing Kakashi flip a page of his book. How did the Fire Daimyo take the news? Said Kakashi knowing the rumors about the mission were still flying all over the place. Not well. He's so angry with us for lying not only to Tsunade, but to him, and breaking his trust in how we raised Naruto, said Jiraiya while Kakashi shrugged. The man is just naive and ignorant, Jiraiya. He should have known what would happen to Naruto upon the boy being made a Jinchuriki. It's common information, said Kakashi, as he kept reading, and yet saw Jiraiya nod despite himself. I know. It's actually what Sarutobi-sensei preyed upon with him when reporting to the Fire Daimyo about it. Minato wanted his son to be seen as a hero, but we knew that just wasn't possible, and that his idea of changing how people here viewed Jinchuriki was a pipe dream. We all knew Kushina was the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, how the two of them felt about each other, but were being so damn hesitant to admit it, and just get them to get together as planned since we knew how powerful a child between them would be. It's why we sold Kushina out to Kumo, as we knew Minato would finally go all out like he had been hesitant to do before, and in the process rescue Kushina with a good chance of them falling in love, said Jiraiya knowing the plan was a risk, but one the Sandaime had him implement, and both had been pleased with the results. Was that the same way with the Shodaime's wife too? Said Kakashi seeing Jiraiya shake his head no. They loved each other from the start. All natural if you will. It's what actually allowed us to have the alliance with Whirlpool in the first place and realize the unlimited potential of the Uzumaki bloodline. It's why we had to wipe almost all of them out, said Jiraiya, as he had supplied the necessary intel needed to invade the place, and crush it on the orders of the Sandaime while planting evidence saying it was Iwa's doing. Does Naruto know? Said Kakashi seeing Jiraiya frown. That I had a hand in it. No. If he did, Naruto would have used Kyuubi's power, and I probably wouldn't be alive right now. Then again, the same could be said about Tsunade too, as she has no idea the leaf had a hand in the destruction of her grandmother's home, and would violently level the village if she did learn the truth, said Jiraiya knowing the female fury behind Tsunade would reach untold levels that could possibly rival Kyuubi's past actions. We have to stop them. I don't need to tell you what that means, said Kakashi, as he had seen Jiraiya's face harden, and knew such a fact had crossed the Sannin's mind. If it comes to that, I'll kill Tsunade, and Naruto myself if there is no other way to put a stop to this, said Jiraiya seeing Kakashi nod. Underground Route HQ. Danzo was concerned about the latest developments above in Konoha. The Fire Daimyo was with his old rival, talking about the village's past, their actions against the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, and other things that couldn't be brought to public light outside of that room. Naturally, Danzo had done things below even the Hokage's own radar too with his root shinobi, and knew he was moderately safe depending on how the Fire Daimyo handled the growing scandal. They too agreed to keep the other's dirty secrets they knew the other had done out of the feudal lord's line of sight, but Danzo knew the agreement was only as good as the man with nothing to lose from keeping such secrets from being exposed. Right now, the Sandaime Hokage had a lot to lose, and Danzo knew it was only a matter of time before the third spoke of his rival's dealings in exchange for leniency. Report, said Danzo to one of his root shinobi in the room. We have word from our spies that Uzumaki Naruto is heading to Rice Country with several kunoichi with him. One is rumored to be the Nibi vessel, said a root shinobi kneeling in front of their leader. Damn it. 2 Jinchuriki are running around freely and I can't grab them, thought Danzo with a grimace while also thinking of Sai and how his promising subordinate had been slain by the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. What are your orders, Danzo-sama? Said the root shinobi awaiting his command. We can do nothing for now until the lockdown is lifted. With Tsunade refusing to be the next Hokage, we have to wait a little longer until the Fire Daimyo himself chooses my old rival's newest successor, and we can mobilize to capture both vessels, said Danzo seeing them nod and then scatter to prepare for that order. Even if Danzo himself hated to play the waiting game. with Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, why did you spare Jiraiya? Said Shizune, as she walked with her teacher out of the city, and seeing the female Sannin walking with a purpose. As I told my godson, it would be too merciful to just kill him, and be done with it. No. The Leaf Village is a lie. A big fat fucking lie, Shizune. People like my grandfather and my granduncle forged Konoha to be a guiding light of sorts in the shinobi world to bring about stability. Now it's a perversion of lies, deceit, and betrayal that would make Uchiha Madara blush with praise at their actions. Said Tsunade before she punched a nearby tree and made it shatter. What do you intend to do? Said Shizune with worry. I have no ties to the Leaf. None. My only loyalty is to you, Tonton, and my godson. He wants to forge an empire that will consume the world, and by Kami I'm going to help him make it happen, said Tsunade, seeing Shizune looking her with a mixture of worry and confusion. How? Said Shizune, since she had never seen Tsunade so angry. Any way I can, said Tsunade, as she had a few ideas of where to go, and was going to do it there right now. No more Mrs. Nice Slug Princess. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.